Decoded.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Book Decoded, where we crack open a book and share the most interesting bits.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so have you ever felt like you're running on a treadmill? Just busy but getting nowhere.
Oh, totally. I think that's like the story of our modern lives, right?
Yeah, well, today's book dives right into that feeling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called Busy Idiots by
Wow.
Brad Marshall and Joff Outlaw.
Catchy title.
Right. It really grabs you, and it's packed with all these insights about how tech and psychology, even our own brains, can make us feel totally overwhelmed and just ineffective.
It's a pervasive feeling, isn't it? Like we're all just caught up in this whirlwind of busyness.
Exactly. And that's what the book really tackles head on.
Well, one thing that struck me was how they illustrate this with the story of John, this busy executive who seems productive, always, in meetings, firing off emails, but doesn't actually achieve anything meaningful.
Oh, wow. So he's on autopilot, busy for the sake of being busy. And I think a lot of us can relate to John on some level. Maybe we're not all executives, but we've all felt that pressure to be constantly on, even if it's not truly productive.
Right. It's like this constant pressure to perform.
Yeah, and the book calls this the busyness trap, and they offer this 5-step framework, the sustainable tech blueprint to help us escape.
Okay, so what are the steps?
Well, it starts with recognizing that we're in this trance-like state, letting tech control our attention.
So it's not about ditching technology altogether.
No, not at all. It's more about becoming more aware of how it influences us.
Right, like being more mindful of our tech use.
Exactly, and the book actually delves into this thing called persuasive design.
What's that?
It's like these subtle tactics that tech companies use to keep us hooked.
Oh, I see. So those endless scrolling feeds, those notifications that pop up just as you're about to log off.
Yeah, exactly. All designed to exploit our psychology.
It's crazy when you think about it, how much effort goes into keeping us engaged.
I know, and they even use things like Bartle's taxonomy of player types. Have you heard of that?
Maybe remind me.
It's like those categories of, achievers, killers, socialites, explorers.
Oh, right. I remember.
And tech companies use this to personalize their platforms, appealing to our specific motivations.
Oh, that's interesting. So if you're an explorer type, you're more likely to get sucked into a Wikipedia rabbit hole for hours.
Yeah, exactly. And the book explores this flow state where we lose track of time while we're engrossed in something.
Oh, we've all been there.
Right? But the book points out that this flow state is often engineered.
What do you mean?
Well, tech companies use these little rewards and cues to keep us engaged, even if it's not actually beneficial for us.
So it's like those slot machines. You keep pulling the lever, hoping for a win, but the odds are always stacked against you.
Exactly. And they even call it the near-miss effect, that little dopamine rush we get when we almost win something that keeps us coming back for more.
And this isn't just limited to games, right? It's in all sorts of apps, even work-related ones.
Right, it's designed to keep us engaged, but not necessarily productive.
And then there's the whole issue of social comparison theory.
Oh yeah, the book talks about how we're constantly comparing ourselves to others online, which can really mess with our self-esteem.
It's a recipe for feeling inadequate. You're bombarded with these curated, idealized versions of other people's lives.
And it makes it so easy to feel like you're not good enough or successful enough.
Right, and the book shares some personal stories about this, and they were so relatable.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into that trap, especially online, where everyone is presenting their best selves.
It's important to remember those online personas often don't reflect reality.
So true, and this whole culture of busyness doesn't just affect individuals, it seeps into workplaces as well.
Oh, I totally agree. I've seen that firsthand.
The book argues that many workplaces actually reward busyness over real productivity.
Which leads to burnout and stress.
Exactly. And they use this example of Natalie, this young consultant, who gets stuck in this classic busy work scenario.
Oh,
Her boss, Gary, assigns her to this high-pressure project, a government tender, even though he knows it's unlikely to succeed.
wow. So he's setting her up for failure.
In a way, yeah, he creates this illusion of progress and keeps everyone busy, even if it's not actually moving the needle.
And Natalie, being eager to please, falls right into the trap.
Exactly. She's working long hours, sacrificing her personal time, all for a project that ultimately goes nowhere.
That's so frustrating.
I know. And the book uses this to highlight how we sometimes become our own worst enemies.
How so?
Well, we buy into this busyness because we think it's what's expected. We say yes to everything, even when we should be saying no.
So what's the antidote to this?
Well, the book offers some strategies for managing these situations, like setting boundaries, prioritizing tasks, and even keeping a busy idiot list.
A busy idiot list. What's that?
It's like those people who constantly create unnecessary work and chaos.
Oh, I know a few of those.
Right. And I really like the idea of thinking straight and talking straight, communicating clearly and concisely, cutting through the noise.
That sounds simple enough.
It does, but it's so hard to do in practice, especially when we're surrounded by this culture of busyness and distraction.
Right. You get caught up in the whirlwind.
Exactly. But the book argues it's essential for building trust and achieving better outcomes.
Okay, I can see that. So speaking of outcomes, the book has this really interesting framework for building high-performing teams called the Team Pact.
Oh, yeah. Have you read about that?
I have. It's all about fostering a sense of shared values and goals, right?
Exactly. It encourages teams to start projects with a clear understanding of what they're trying to achieve and how they're going to work together.
And it also addresses those classic team dysfunctions like lack of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and inattention to results.
Yeah, all that stuff that can really sabotage a team.
Exactly. The book suggests starting with clear goals and shared values, and even having some fun team-building activities.
That's always a good idea.
And what I found really innovative was the idea of using Lego to represent each team member's strengths and personality types.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a fun and visual way to understand individual contributions and foster collaboration.
I love that. It makes team dynamics more tangible. But it's not all about work, right? The book also talks about the importance of reclaiming our personal lives.
Oh, absolutely. We need that balance.
Yeah, and they share a story about Chris and Courtney, this high-achieving couple who are struggling to balance work and family even with unlimited leave.
Wow. So even with all that flexibility, it's still a struggle.
It is, and their story really underscores how blurred the lines between work and personal life have become.
Even with flexible work arrangements, we need to be intentional about setting boundaries and protecting our personal time.
Right. It's a reminder that we need to be as disciplined about our downtime as we are about our work time.
So what strategies does the book suggest for reclaiming our personal lives?
Well, one intriguing idea is designating our homes as our castles, creating a space where work intrusion is minimized.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, it's about creating a sanctuary, a place where you can truly relax and recharge.
And they also talk about managing our downtime calendars, right?
Exactly. We're so good at scheduling meetings. Why not schedule time for activities that bring us joy and connection?
That's a great idea. Make it a non-negotiable part of your week.
Yeah, and of course they emphasize the importance of mindfulness.
Mindfulness, that's a big one these days.
It is, but it's so hard to disconnect in today's always-on world.
So true. So what kind of mindfulness techniques does the book recommend?
Well, they offer a range of simple yet effective strategies like focusing on your breath, paying attention to your senses, or taking a few minutes each day to sit in silence.
It's about stepping back from that constant doing mode and just allowing yourself to be.
Exactly. And it's not easy, but it's so important for our well-being.
Totally agree. So overall, it sounds like Busy Idiots is a pretty insightful book.
It is. It's not just about working less, but working smarter and being more mindful about how we spend our time and energy, both at work and in our personal lives.
I like that. It's a holistic approach.
Yeah, it's about creating a life that is both fulfilling and productive on our own terms.
Sounds like a good read.
It is definitely worth checking out.
It's about shifting our mindset, from doing to being. Yeah. The book actually delves into the neuroscience behind all of this, explaining how our habits literally rewire our brains.
That's what blew my mind. They talk about neural pruning, where our brain actually gets rid of connections we don't use and strengthens the ones we do.
It's fascinating, isn't it? So if we're constantly bombarded with information and notifications, our brains literally become wired for distraction.
It's kind of scary when you think about it.
It is. We lose the ability to focus, think deeply, or even connect with others in a meaningful way.
And that brings up this whole issue of loneliness, which the book doesn't shy away from.
Yeah.
Despite being more connected digitally, we're experiencing an epidemic of loneliness.
It's paradox, isn't it?
It makes you wonder, are we trading real connection for the illusion of connection?
Right. Are we sacrificing real relationships for superficial online interactions?
Yeah. And the book highlights the importance of face-to-face interaction for our well-being.
It's not just about feeling good, though. It actually triggers the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone.
Which helps reduce stress and builds trust.
Exactly. So it's not just about socializing. It's about our physical and mental health.
And it's not just about after-work socializing either.
Right.
With the rise of remote work, are we missing out on those spontaneous interactions, those water cooler moments that build camaraderie?
It's a definite trade-off. The book doesn't condemn remote work, but it does encourage us to be mindful of the potential downsides.
And to find ways to mitigate them.
Yeah, maybe it's scheduling like virtual coffee breaks or being intentional about reaching out to colleagues on a personal level.
Those are all good ideas. Now, what about dealing with a busy boss? That manager who thrives on chaos and constantly throws new demands at the team.
Ah, yes, the classic busy boss scenario. The book acknowledges that this can be tricky. You want to be respectful, but also protect your time and energy.
So how do you handle that?
Well, they suggest some clever tactics for navigating this, like tie your no to their objectives.
What does that mean?
Instead of just saying no to a request, you explain how taking on that task would hinder you from achieving the boss's top priorities.
So you're framing your no in a way that aligns with their goals.
Exactly. You're demonstrating that you understand the bigger picture.
That's a good strategy. And they also suggest building your circle of influence.
It's about surrounding yourself with colleagues who have a more balanced and productive approach to work.
So their positive work habits can influence your own behavior.
Right, and they can provide support when you're facing those busy idiot pressures.
Now, Busy Idiots also tackles the elephant in the room, artificial intelligence.
AI, yeah, that's a big one these days.
Is AI going to make us all even busier, or can it actually help us escape the cycle?
That's a great question. The book offers a helpful framework for deciding when to use AI, what they call the 4Ds.
The 4Ds, what are those?
Dear, dangerous, dull, or deletable.
Okay, so if a task is like expensive, dangerous, or mind-numbingly boring, maybe AI can handle it.
Exactly. But if it requires like human judgment or creativity, it's best left to us.
So it's about using AI strategically to enhance our productivity and well-being.
Right. Not as a crutch that further detaches us from meaningful work.
I like that. And the book doesn't just focus on individual strategies. It also calls for creating a work culture that values productivity over busyness.
Yeah, that's important.
It's about setting clear expectations, fostering collaboration, and encouraging employees to prioritize their well-being.
That sounds like a much healthier work environment.
Ultimately, Busy Idiots is a call to reclaim our time, our energy, and our lives.
It's about choosing to be present, intentional, and focused on what truly matters.
Becoming the masters of our technology, not its slaves.
Easier said than done, though, right?
So true. It's a constant battle. But what I love about this book is it doesn't just highlight the problems. It gives us actionable tools and strategies to break free from the busyness trap.
And it reminds us that it's okay to slow down, say no, and prioritize our well-being.
Our worth isn't tied to our productivity or our busyness.
That's such an important message, especially in today's world.
We need permission to unplug, recharge, and focus on what truly matters.
It all comes back to that core question, like what actually makes a busy idiot?
Right. It's not just about being busy. It's about being busy with the wrong things.
Exactly. The things that don't align with our values, our goals, or even our well-being.
And the book suggests that, busyness can often be a mask for deeper issue.
Oh, totally. Like insecurity, a lack of focus, or even fear of failure.
We stay busy to avoid confronting those uncomfortable feelings or to create the illusion of progress.
Right. It's like a way of avoiding dealing with the real stuff.
So it's not about working less. It's about working smarter and being more intentional with our time and energy.
Right. So how do we actually do that?
Well, the book argues that we need to start by identifying what truly matters to us. What are our values? What are our goals? What brings us joy and a sense of fulfillment?
Exactly. And once we have a clear understanding of those things, we can start to prioritize our activities accordingly.
That makes sense. It's about aligning our actions with our values. But what about those tasks that we can't just eliminate, the things we have to do, even if they don't spark joy?
Oh, yeah. Those are the tough ones.
The book offers some strategies for those situations as well. They suggest breaking down large tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks, setting deadlines, and rewarding ourselves for completing tasks.
Oh, that's a good idea. I like the reward part.
And I think the book also emphasizes the importance of learning to say no more often.
Absolutely. Saying no to requests that don't align with our priorities can be incredibly freeing. It allows us to focus on the things that truly matter.
And the book even offers some helpful scripts for saying no gracefully without burning bridges.
Oh, that's helpful. I could use some of those.
So I think a key takeaway here is setting boundaries and protecting our time and energy.
And recognizing that our worth isn't tied to our productivity.
We are valuable simply for being who we are, not for what we do.
Busy Idiots is like a powerful reminder that we have a choice. We can choose to be slaves to our technology, to our never-ending to-do lists, and to the expectations of others.
Or we can choose to be the masters of our own lives, creating a life that is both fulfilling and productive on our own terms.
I like that. That's a great message to end on.
If you're feeling overwhelmed by the demands of modern life, I highly recommend checking out Busy Idiots. It's a practical, insightful, and often humorous guide to escaping the busyness trap and creating a life that is more aligned with your values and goals.
And here's a final thought for you to ponder. What would it look like to actually face those fears that keep you busy? What would you do with the time and energy you reclaimed if you weren't constantly trying to prove your worth? What truly matters to you? Take some time to reflect on those questions and let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Book Decoded. Until next time, stay curious and keep diving deep.